My co-host, Big Country.
Was good.
All right. So, been watching Netflix. Checked out the Kanye West doc.
Hmm.
Definitely energized.
What about it made you energized?
When it comes to man, now speaking from a perspective of hindsight, it's always 2020. We talking in the future about the past, and we are we can always say how stupid these people were in the future because of what came to be when it came to Kanye, right?
True.
But if we was in that moment based on all the information presented, gangster rap was the music of the time. So Kanye West wasn't really fitting that bag, right?
Okay.
So I can't call those people stupid because I understand the time frame. But seeing it now, I'd be like, What got me hyped though, because that was the initial question. When you have that level of confidence in yourself, like no matter what's going on, I'm gonna get it done. And it's like he betted 100% on himself, and it paid. It paid out.
But then in the documentary, it also says that there was sometimes he was doubting himself because he was like, I still don't know why I'm not on. I still don't know why they're not. First, it was why no one will sign me. They want to sign him as a producer, but they didn't want to sign him as an artist.
Cause they like you make the music for you put feeling behind these hood gangster tales. But he's like, this the beats I'm making, the productions I'm doing, I can put feelings behind the life of the regular guy who just in the high fashion, who, tried to make it work doing it the right way.
But my question is, what's the issue with the regular guy? Because more people are the regular guy.
More people are the regular guy at that time though. How do we know that the average everyday Joe story is gonna sell? How do I know? I don't know. If I got a major label that I'm pushing, I'm going with the sure shot. Like this has been working, it's gonna keep working.
But that was like, if we talk about it in the origins and beginning of rap, they had Run DMC, they had Tribe Called Quest, they had all these different ones, and they weren't just the hoodest gangster
Well, I'm
or
not.
anything.
That's what I'm saying. For the time, because if you would have told me gangster rap would have took off before NWA really came out,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't know. This ain't really how we doing it right now. Because there was people dissing crack and all kinds of stuff
Like,
before the crack era. Like, what
yeah,
I mean?
but I would say, like, besides Rakim and stuff like that, you really didn't have, like, too much gangster rap. And then all of a sudden, it was NWA came out, and that paved the way for a lot of gangster rap. If we really get technical, Ice-T was one of the
Right.
first gangster
Right.
rappers, period.
Yeah.
But before Ice-T, they were still rapping.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But when you got it's all working. The formula they already put in place for Rockefeller was already working.
Yeah.
So for you to tell me I'm finna switch 360 and make this a new push to go in this direction, why? Why would I go through that? I don't have to. I think we're doing just fine here.
But I guess the only reason I say it is because I look at it as like, music tells different stories of the time.
Right.
But how many times you gonna tell the same story before it starts getting like repetitive? Like that's like as we're older right now. Like certain rap music that's come out right now is like, I really don't want to hear that no more.
Well, also you got to take into account, unlike other genres, and shout out to Jay-Z for really changing the views on it. But rap is a young person's genre. Like
Okay.
rap and pop is for the youth. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So at a certain point, unless our artists retire, they don't really grow with us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because if you think about it, that's why they got the old Kanye. it was great for us, but kids these days may or may not fully relate to the stories. They're like, how you gonna tell me that a kid gonna really fully understand spaceship and they
Bruh,
trying to be
a job.
e-commerce. They trying to be e-commerce now.
First of all, everybody wants to be like in today's time. Everybody want to be way bigger than what they are right now. It's like,
But hey, I mean, not don't say today. We all want to
okay,
be way
no,
bigger than
we
were.
want to be way bigger. But as I was telling some of my young folk, I was telling them like the issue with a lot of people now and why they're not closing or making it to their idea of success is because they have where they're at right now, then they have success right here. But they don't have no in between on how I could possibly get to that success. All you see is the success.
I don't know.
Okay,
In my world, because we was sold a bill of goods that wasn't good. Hold on one second.
Yeah, so yeah, we got a little interruption and everything, but it's all good. My idea is just the fact that I'm saying is each generation in time, yes, we had our differences and understandings about what we wanted, what we needed, what we desired. But I'm a firm believer in if you don't evolve and adapt with the times, you're going to be one of those people that become extinct. Like if we look at the dinosaurs could not evolve. So they end up dying off. If you look at a lot of different anything, like that's like the cowboy way. As a cowboy, people rode on the saddle, did all those kind of things, figured things out the way they wanted to do them. But if you didn't evolve, you didn't move with the herd, you didn't conduct yourself in the right way, sooner or later you're going to fall off because nobody stays on top forever. So I guess that's my thing, because if we look at Run DMC, KRS-One, if we look at Curtis Blow, if we look at a lot of different people, they were on top at one point in time, but they didn't adapt, so they fell off.
It's not about adapting.
When
you start talking about music and stuff like that, you start talking about people, the artists that we listen to and we really enjoy and pick up on and continue going on a journey with. They talking about stuff personal to their lives.
Yeah, but as your life adapts, you adapt too. Like, okay,
Then
for
you're
example,
gonna have to start doing that flossing rap, and you lose relatability. How many? You can't tell me that okay, I'm a millionaire and I can't relate to your lifestyle no more, and expect me to buy or listen to the album.
You're not gonna say you've been a millionaire all your life because you haven't.
But then that goes back to what you said originally. How many times you gonna tell me the same story and I'm supposed to pick up and listen to it?
But what I'm saying is like that evolution. Like if I started off talking about bang bang shoot 'em up, however you want to look at it, that doesn't have to be the consistency of my career.
Right.
But what I could say it like, okay, for example, T.I. is a perfect example from it. When T.I. first came out, you don't know me, I'm serious. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. He was going hard. But as he started getting older, he started changing up. Yeah, I'm still about some of those things I said, but I'm a father now.
Yeah, I got levels.
Then he went to T.I. and Tiny Family and all that stuff. He adapted. And as he would say on a lot of things, I'm a diverse individual. Right. Like, and what was the saying is like, I'll beat your ass, kiss your girl in the mouth, and go tuck my kids in. And then in the morning, I go lead a march. Yeah. I'm diverse. So wouldn't you be able to say as a rapper, you don't have to be pigeonholed into one thing?
But the thing about it is when you rap or you make art or something, you develop a fan base. Okay. And it's hard for your fan base to let you evolve. That's why some people, they put you in segments. They're like, oh, this was when he was hot. But 50 Cent, in essence, is still going hard. He's just not going hard to those who listen to Get Rich or Die Trying. Ye still going hard. He just not going hard to those people who grew up with
Mm.
dropout and late registration.
Well,
It's just you you can't please everybody. So you gonna have to, as an artist, at a certain point in the beginning, because you knew you fresh, you finding all the people who resonate on your vibration.
okay.
Right? But eventually that fades. And
But
now you have to rely solely on your art form and what
okay, like for example, if we say T.I. right now, T.I., I think he started rapping I'm Serious when he was like 19 or somewhere around there.
Right.
And then he started growing up, and those people grew up with him. Like, he talking about fatherhood now. Like, we got into fatherhood, all that kind of stuff. You growing with them. Now, if all you want to see is your artists right here at base level, what they first came in at, the issue with Kanye is because if you listen to Kanye's first 3 albums, there was not one person that even had remarkably any issue with it.
Those people with issues with.
No, because even okay, my bad. 50 Cent had issue and bet that he would retire if Kanye outsold him. Then he took that back real quick
because he knew Kanye was going to outsell him.
So the whole thing with that, I'm just saying, is like, and each one he was evolving and growing. It wasn't until like his mom passed away is when a lot of people were kind of scratching their head a little bit, because don't get me wrong, it's a tragic event, but that wasn't the trajectory he was going. He was still going up on that momentum, and I'm not saying that 808 and the Heartbreak wasn't good, but you had to get used to it.
What you're saying is there's a core group of the Kanye people in the beginning who was listening to it, and then when he made 808s and Heartbreaks, it wasn't the sound that they was used to, so they discredited and dissociated, and he grew a whole new group of fans based on that. And so that's what I'm saying. You as an artist, you cannot remain in that. Like, I can't keep giving you what I've been giving you, because at a certain point, like you said, I do evolve. And as much as you want to go with your fans, like, you know, provide for the fans who've been there, the art ultimately wins. It's like, at a certain point, I'm not going to rap about what you think I'm going to rap about no more, because I don't think that way no more. I had to grow. I had to evolve.
Well, that wasn't a grow. I mean, that was...
Dark Twisted Fantasy, with production-wise and all that, is growth.
Okay,
The new Life of Pablo is a different rap. He ain't talking about the same thing. I can't tell you I'm a college dropout or a grad. We beyond that now. Now we're talking about my current life.
Okay, because what I'm saying is when graduation hit, when graduation came out, all those things. After graduation, what was it supposed to originally be? Get a job. That's where the trajectory was going. It wasn't until his mom passed that everything changed.
Well, if you look at the documentary, it wasn't until he had the car wreck that everything changed. Because he was like...
He was still doing the same. He was still doing...
He said he had to reevaluate. That's when you start getting them verses where he giving you a lot more. It's in the doc. It's in the documentary. Go watch it.
I gotta watch that part. I'm almost finished. I ain't finished with the entire thing, but I'm almost finished.
I'm telling you, that's what he said. I'm just telling you what he said.
Still saying, like, I respect Kanye for what he does, and I hate that he's gotten such a bad rap on a lot of things now, because a lot of people are like, oh, he's just so crazy, so unstable, and things like that.
They're selling that. That's why I be like, you can't listen to me. You gotta go meet the man for yourself. Because I'm certain, if you sitting in a room with Kanye West, it's not, you ain't gonna be like, oh, he crazy and he unstable. You're gonna be like, it's Kanye West.
We were having a debate in the barbershop yesterday.
Right.
And we were talking about Kanye and all that kind of stuff. And we were talking about certain things that he said that a lot of people didn't get or understand on the actual deep level, because they just took it for the surface area. Like when he was talking about slavery was a choice. And a a whole bunch of people were up in arms about him saying it being the choice. But the thing is a lot of people didn't look at it for in depth way it could be. The mind state of a slave is a choice, because what I thought he was saying when he said it was about the mentality of a slave. It's more of y'all on this plantation than the owner.
Right.
You could have, if you want to get out of that, truly get out of that state, y'all could have took over, like Nat Turner, Haiti, all these different things. They decided they want to get out of that mind state. But there were other black people that were like, whoa, nah, you don't want to mess it up. It's already bad for us right now, but don't mess up what's going on now, because if we mess up what's going on, it could possibly get worse.
Right.
But how much worse could you get than where you were at?
My thing when it comes to what you're saying now, okay, I am a firm believer in the delivery is just as important as the message. There's multiple ways to say if you think it, you can think your way out of a troublesome situation. You don't have to accept the status that you currently have.
Yes.
He could have just said, you don't have to accept the status you have. You can go and make more. And the documentary shows he's somebody who went and made more.
Yeah.
So when he's saying, like, to say a statement, so, you know.
Don't get me wrong.
Slavery is a choice.
He should have said it a better way. I'm not saying he shouldn't have said it a better way, but not one person, well, I ain't going to say not one person, but a lot of people would have rather condemned him than actually thought about it and were like, what could it,
all it takes, because that's what, you get to the point where people get to listening to, okay, I didn't even hear what he said, because, you know, you told me what he said already. And I mean, just, when you take excerpts or you isolate certain statements that a person is making, and instead of reading it in full context, because to get the message that you got from it, you have to listen to more than just that snippet.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what people be saying all the time. They're like, nah, we can't be
taking things out of context.
You can't be taking things out of context. You got to read the entire book. If you just told me right now that the Incredible Hulk dies, I'm going to be like, well, I need to know more, because it's not supposed to happen. Like, I got to know the full context to the story. That's all I'm saying.
But, like, the reason I just bring that up is because a lot of things, you know, we all go through trials, tragedy, all those kind of things. But it's like, with this man, they picked a lot of things apart. But he still prevailed. And he is the richest rapper. Yeah, I can say that. Yeah, he is literally the richest rapper.
The question would be then, though, is it about, because at a certain point,
okay, because
about wealth, bro.
If we talk about rap, let's be honest. Most of the time when we've talked about rap, it has to do with wealth.
Yeah,
but if we talk about gangster rap, what are they talking about in gangster rap most times? Getting paid. Yeah. Who got more?
That's true, but he ain't doing gangster rap. He had rap with a purpose. I mean, he started off rapping with Mos Def and Kweli and all these. Like, yeah. All I'm saying is there's a line, and don't get me wrong when I'm saying it's a line, and I feel like Kanye West crossed it. I don't feel like he crossed it at all. He's a man. He evolved, and as fans, I feel like it's the artist's job to provide a product. Yeah. And it's the fans' job, like the true diehard fans, to take what he's giving you and break it down and digest it and give it your honest opinion. That's the only thing you should do. And don't try to impart your opinion on somebody else. No, you go listen to it for yourself.
Yeah.
And you tell me what you think. Because majority of art, if it ain't causing a debate, if it ain't causing you to question things that are, then what's the point of it? I have to look at it and feel something in order to say so. Majority of art is to have an opinion, even if the art is meant for you not to have an opinion.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I have an opinion about this art? That's what you got to start asking yourself.
But that's like with Childish Gambino, This Is America. If
I
you
thought just
only
Childish
heard the
Gambino.
song, you wouldn't really understand. But watching the actual video and watching it more than once, you see new things happening each time. You see the things in the background, you see the way that things are displayed, but then you also see with the song, what are they trying to do? Because basically, like, people interpret it different. But a lot of the things you can see, oh well, we're doing all this dancing and stuff
But
to
all
get
these
away
tragedies and
from
atrocities happening
all
right
these
around us.
issues that are going on.
Right.
It's a lot of stuff. And then they had like what was it? One was the KKK, one was the dude riding the horse and everything.
Right. I mean, we ain't gotta give a recap of the
Yeah.
whole video, but if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's pretty decent.
I
I
just
enjoyed it.
I just would tell anyone, if you're taking everything at just face value, yeah, you can't really call yourself a real fan.
Right. You have to look at it and you have to dissect. Art is complex. And sometimes it's simplistic in a way that makes it complex. Speaking on complexities, recently there was a post on Facebook questioning whether which one was more fragile,
Mm.
the male ego or female pride.
Mm. Man.
I mean, yeah, take your time.
Okay, I'll say it like this. To me, I think the female pride is more fragile because we do so much to protect it. Like, a woman's pride on everything, we fight so hard to protect it. Dudes will die for it. Women will die for it.
Right.
It's like our society in 2022, our society is built around it
Right.
for the most part.
I agree.
So it becomes to that point where it's like, what about the male ego? Because anytime you hear about the male ego now, all you hear is the negative, oh, well, your ego shouldn't be that, you shouldn't care about it that much, or...
Well, this is how I look at it. When you take into the genre of basketball, male basketball, the NBA, is based on male ego. Kobe Bryant, I want to be the best.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal, I want to be the best. Michael Jordan, I want to be the best. LeBron James, Muggsy Moles, Allen Iverson, all these people, I want to be the best. Steph Curry, because I ain't gonna leave him out. He, in my opinion, he changed the game when he did what he did. So, Kevin Durant,
It's a cheat code.
like, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of it, everybody's out there and they're performing to ultimately be the best.
Yeah.
And I feel like a major marketing flaw with the WNBA is pride. Because they're saying, not like indirectly, what they're saying is, we can play too. And if you don't believe me, ask yourself this question. Who is the greatest WNBA player of all time? Nobody ever has that conversation. Everybody's just happy that they own the court and now you're just trying to fight for equality. Forget all that. Go in there and be like, my primary focus and what I want you to understand about the WNBA, because it's competitive women out there dominating this sport all day.
Yeah.
I want you to understand that we women have an ego. We ain't just out here trying to be comparable to men playing basketball. No, what we do, it is basketball, but it's a totally different world than what you do. And in this world, I want to be the ultimate player. I want to be the Michael Jordan in the WNBA. And I want to be so separated to, even though we still playing basketball, but I don't want you to be like, that's the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. No. That's the such and so of the WNBA. She's the greatest player to ever touch a basketball in the WNBA. And you just leave the NBA out of it separate. Because that's the only way you're going to grow your legs.
Yeah.
And
Like-
that's why I be like, your pride, we keep protecting it. when it came to WNBA, oh, we just want y'all. We want to get y'all wages up because y'all playing too. Wait, no, let my ego, because my ego will get me paid.
Yeah.
Your ego get Kanye West's ego got him paid. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
if you look at it like this, boxing, whatchamacallit, Floyd Mayweather's ego is what got him that money. He got all that money from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if you talk about the greatest boxing, like it's a literal argument between people on who's the best or who's the pound for pound. Some people say Roy Jones Jr., some people say Floyd Mayweather, some people like, if you greatest of all time, some people say Muhammad Ali, some people say Mike Tyson, some people even say Holyfield.
I'm going Mike. Well, that's just because his level of intimidation. You know what I'm saying?
But the whole idea with this is because of the ego with it. It enhanced things to a whole nother level. It made you want it more.
Yeah, it's like being like, we ain't just out here to play so people get. We out here to prove to any and everybody that when I touch the ball, it's something amazing finna happen. I'm that great.
Yeah.
So that's why. Yeah.
And I think that's an issue when it comes into sports, because in certain sports and with male-dominated sports versus women-dominated sports, with a lot of male-dominated sports, man, I'm out to be the best. If I ain't gonna be the best, I'm like,
what's the point? I'm not gonna do
like, I'm not about to. I don't want to be second. I don't want to be third.
I want to be number.
I want to be that person.
I want to be number one.
But I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, it's the same. It's not the same, because when your ego gets involved, now it's a challenge. Now it's taken to a whole new level. With you having pride in something, it's like, yeah, I want things to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
But everything's not going to be fair, no matter how much we want it to be.
True.
You good over there?
I am. I just feel like you could. Yeah, see, that'll make us have a bad day. You said it to me. You
but hey, I was just doing my job.
Yeah,
but I guess that's the thing with me. I want everybody to have pride, because you should always have pride in yourself. But that ego is going to get you where you want to be, because the ego to me makes me feel like, man, I got to be the best. If I can't be the best, I ain't trying to hear it.
Yeah, I'm saying the initial question was, which is more fragile, the male ego or the nobody tests women's pride. Like nobody. It's always to be encouraged. Like, we always pushing the buck to try to get you, the respect you deserve, the pay you deserve, and I'm no issues, because I'm also for that. Hey, no. If you doing the same level of work as that man over there, you gonna get paid the same way. Yeah. I don't see no issues with that. You know what I'm saying? If your home life or whatever is equivalent, whatever's equivalent, that's yours. Flat out, no issues. But when you start talking about a male ego, the whole point of a male ego is to say the status quo isn't acceptable. I got to push that beyond. Whatever it is, I got to take that from that point to the next point. So, and it's always going to be challenged, because, hey, you trying to tell me you better than me.
Yeah.
The male ego is steeped in competition. That's the whole point of it.
But as a guy, most men love competition, love competing. Right.
And that's why the male ego ain't fragile, because you gotta fight. If you got an ego, you had to fight to have it.
Yeah.
You had to fight hard to keep it, maintain it. Nobody's gonna go up there and nurture your ego. No one. Your ego is a selfish act.
Yeah.
It's all you.
A lot of people want to say, oh, well, they stroke male ego. No. Because the only reason I got this is because I earned it.
I kept going and I kept pushing the envelope. I knew that in order to do that, I got to be a certain level, and my ego would not let me be subpar or average. I
Yeah.
had to go and reach the heights of that.
And yes, there will always be someone to take a shot at ego. It's like, oh, well, let me try to knock you off your pedestal.
Right.
So I look at it with that is like, even if you try to knock me off my pedestal, I'm going to get right back up and keep doing what I need to do.
Right. Yep.
But I guess when it comes to pride and everything, it's like, pride hasn't stood the test of time.
Pride has stood the test of time.
How you figure that?
It's just in a different manner. Cause I got black pride. Black pride been here way before I ever existed. You know what I'm saying? And controversies with you, I'm sure white pride has stood the test of time. Chinese pride has stood the test of time. Indonesian pride has stood the test of time.
When I say it like this, when I talk about the pride and everything, is because, for example, when, what was it, probably about 3-4 years ago with the Colin Kaepernick and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
At one point in time, all black NFL players could have in one voice changed the game, period, by all of them just saying, no, we're going to take this knee no matter what. Every black person, because there's no way the NFL could do what it does without black players, period.
Right.
But instead of that black pride that they have was like, well, if it depends on between my pride and my bank account, like, I'll chill out on that.
I'm just saying.
Like,
you're looking at it from one aspect. It's like, okay, yeah, you're right. More people could have took the knee.
And you know what would happen? They would still got their money.
You still got their money.
All of them would
probably
still
be in the league. But the thing about it is, when you look at the collective, it was a lot of people who did take a knee. There's a lot of people who took a knee who's still in the league. And when you start talking about Kaepernick, the reason I say black pride stood the test of time is because even with all that on the line, he had a message, he had a purpose, and he was like, I'm going to stand behind that. At a certain point, he said, I'm putting my accolade, all that on the back burner. It's something more important when it comes to black people and police brutality that I have to get somebody to listen to. And if it costs me everything, the pride that I have for my people is more important.
And I would agree to that for him.
But no. At the height of your game, you gave everything up for black, for the pride of the people.
Yeah.
Just because it's one man don't mean that it dies. He gonna go down in history because he stood for something.
Okay.
And there's people out there multiple people in NFL right now who not gonna make the Hall of Fame, who probably ain't gonna get to play another down, who probably gonna retire this year and nobody gonna know they retired till they look and be like, oh, that guy wasn't there. And they'll just end up. So I'm just saying, when it comes down to pride, I can't say that pride didn't stand the test of time. Pride stood the test of time. Pride is something that, it's prevalent, it's here, it's consistent. It's just the different types of display when it comes to pride, whether it be, like I said, whatever community and which you want to show pride in. Whatever you got going, you as an individual, pride is it's individual, like, or it's, you know what I'm saying? You probably don't know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Pride stood the test of time. So, on to something more, common to what we would normally talk about. Okay, let's say you and your wife having a moment, and she had a situation where she could no longer,
take birth control.
And you don't want no kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, as a married man, would you revert back to using condoms? Or would you say, nah, I'm going to grab this vasectomy and do what needs to be done, keep it pushing?
Well, for me, I look at it a little different because of me. First of all, my wife having my children, she sacrificed a lot just having those children. Second of all, it's like I don't know, a lot of guys always look at it as like worry about the wrong thing. It's like I would go with having a vasectomy. And for those who don't know, I did have one.
Right.
And the reason I had one was because, first of all, my wife sacrificed a lot of things with her body, hormones, things like that, having my two children.
Mm.
So my thing is, why would I be selfish on a procedure that literally took me 30 minutes at best?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't hurt, wasn't painful, still could do the exact same things that I've been doing. But I know other dudes that were like, nah, bro. We'll go back to condoms or she'll figure something out. Or she can get her tubes tied or something like that. I was like, hey.
Well, most people who use that tube tied comment or rebuttal is saying the doctor's already in there. He can just do it. You know what I'm saying? In the moment. It's like, you already down there, bro. Just go ahead and finish it because we ain't going to use
But
that
there's a
no more.
difference from you actually having surgery, a surgical procedure, because a lot of dudes think, oh, if your wife has a vaginal birth, then he could just do it from right there. No, he still got to cut you open and do all that. No. I can't reach in there from where the baby came from.
If he did.
Like, I would understand that a little more if, you know, maybe she has C-section or something, even though it's like very, like, it's like you going in there because you need stitches for a cut. But them deciding, hey, man, we're going to have to get that pancreas or that kidney up off you, too. Like, whoa. We went from one thing to way bigger thing.
I'm just saying, once two people make a decision, I feel like, you know, hey.
But do you think both people make the decision or a lot of dudes pressure?
I don't know if it's pressure, because a dude would be like, I'm not trying to have no more kids. I mean, what's the offset? Because at this point, you can get vasectomy, but technically you can raw dog go grab Plan B every day if you want to. I mean, it's stupid and you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you
probably very unhealthy. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
so okay, my question: what do you think?
What I think, I feel like it all boils down to who wants the end result the most. If I as a man come to, you know, me and Ryan decide, hey, I'm not gonna have no more kids, you know, and because if it's up to her, we can have 3. If it's up to me, I want to cut that right off at a good solid 2. We done with that, and we moving on. So I'm the more passionate about it.
Yeah,
and I'd be like, nah, forget it. I'll get a vasectomy. Because one, I'm good. I was really good with one, but you know, that's just me personally. So
I mean, but it's your personal choice. So I mean,
right.
That's the way it is. But the only reason I ask this is because I always hear dudes say more of it's the woman's responsibility because most dudes are afraid of that whole, oh well, I won't be a man no more.
Well, I mean, because I gotta ask you, what do you feel like they mean by I won't be a man no more? What?
Okay. Yeah. For example, because I had like 4 or 5 people ask me, do you still bust the same? Yes. Do you still like that receipt? Yeah, it still comes out the same, except I don't have to worry about taking nothing back. Like, I ain't gonna have no kids. In the receipt, I'm talking about the sperm. Like, everything still works the same, looks the same, does the exact same, but I don't have to worry about the end result of having no children.
I feel like that's more of a medical statement you make. Like, they should be able to get that answer from a doctor should they go have the procedure, or if they were thinking about
it. But how many dudes you know gone? Man, most dudes wait till they really get messed up before they go to the doctor.
Right.
So how many dudes you know gonna be like?
But that's the question.
I'm gonna just go.
The question is, because you said it was tied to they don't feel like they'd be a man anymore.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out because the reason I'm like, what aspect? Because if you're saying, oh, if you don't secrete semen, then you're not. Then they feel like you're not a man. I'd be like, it's a lot of people I don't consider men, and I'm sure they could go and
But
all over
the
place.
idea of sex, that is the main thing. Let's just be 100. The main thing about this is sex.
Right.
When you have sex, you expect the end result of, I get what I want. There it is, because that's what it is right there. It's real.
But I still don't see how that's tied to manhood, though.
First of all,
I'm trying to figure out.
First of all, when you talk about tied to manhood, okay, here's my question. Would you consider yourself still a man if, like, let's say you had to get amputated?
Yes.
Now, how many other men would think that same thing? Oh, he's still the same thing. Or would you just feel like,
a man is, in my world, the man that I am and the men that I know, yourself included, are more than their penis. So
and that's true. Like, but how much of men in general?
I feel like that would be a ignorant mind, like, you know. That would definitely.
Okay,
I would feel like
you
that
heard
would be a weaker
saying,
of the mindsets. Like,
a person can be smart. People are stupid.
Right.
People are ignorant.
Right.
So people in general, like men in general, would automatically. You would look at somebody and be like, "I'm so sorry, man." Like, you almost want to shed a tear for him. When you hear about a dude getting kicked in the nuts, you like,
oh, because that's a tragedy. That's trauma. Like the fact that it got removed, I would be like, I'm sorry for that happening to you, but I wouldn't consider you less of a man if you did not have it. Man far supersedes, is far superior or paramount to a bedroom. Like,
and yes, that should be true, but
not should be. That is true. That's just
okay. Hold up. If we took a poll on it right now, I don't think most men would feel the same way that we feel. Like, just because, that's one thing that I was talking to him about yesterday. Just because certain people feel a certain way, like, for me and the people I'm close to, I think they would feel the same way, because like-minded people on certain things, it's like, okay, I understand. We all want success. We all look at a man as more than just your private parts, but what you bring to this world, what you bring to your family, what you offer up, what you're willing to sacrifice.
Right. Well,
but that's not the average man.
My question to you would be, we've all heard the story of Spartacus. Was Spartacus a man?
Hold up, Spartacus. You talking about the series?
Not the series, the actual guy. Because, I mean, the series has a high level of fiction because they had, a lot of sex in there. But in reality, he was castrated. Was he a man? He led a revolt. He almost he did a lot. I feel like his mark was far more important than.
That's what you would say.
I would put that to question. Does the people say, well, what would you describe Spartacus as if not a man? He didn't have it. They took it away. They cut it off.
Yeah, I understand that.
But he was man. And he got things done.
And I will agree with that on certain levels. But do you think they would think that about in today's time? We're not talking about back
in today's time. If a man had any sort of accident to where he lost his privates, I would not consider him less of a man. I don't think anybody would, because you went through something so traumatic to where I'd be like, man, that's messed up. Now,
like, what was it on Game of Thrones? And like, I didn't
view him as a man before that, from the actions he took in the series. That what he wasn't acting manly. And then he lost his penis, and then he had a psychological break that made him even more meek.
Okay.
But in essence,
and all the other people treated him as that same thing.
Is a man solely based on your treatment, though? Like, if you treat me like I'm not a man, am I not a man? I'm still a man. You just don't treat me like one. And as a man, I can either demand my respect, or I can be a man who's like, forget it. I don't need approval, because a real man don't really need to seek approval. Which, at the same time, a male ego, which is why I don't feel like it's fragile, is gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna let you talk to me like I'm crazy. End of the day, I am who I am. Penis or no penis. So back to what I'm saying with the vasectomy. If I were to have a vasectomy, there wouldn't be any less. I wouldn't be viewed any less of what I am, because I was using it solely for one person. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's a higher caliber or a higher accolade or notch to your manhood from being faithful to your wife. I feel like as a man, if you can resist the urges that every man have, I'll tell you right now, there's an absolute. Personally, I don't see it as, oh, I got married, so I don't view other women as beautiful. That's foolish.
That's a lot that fairy tales.
That's fairy tale. I still find women attractive that are not my wife. But the thing about it is, the loyalty in which I placed on my relationship and the respect that I have for my wife, nah, I ain't going that route with nobody, because she's a bigger prize. And as a man, I stand on my word. I said this is what we're going to do, and that's what we're going to do. End of that. Your word.
What was that movie?
Going back on your word will make me think you less of a man, as opposed to,
okay. Like, and you remember A Thin Line Between Love and Hate?
Right.
Where Martin Lawrence asked the older dude that owned the club, he was like, man, you don't ever think about tipping out and all this kind of stuff? And he was like, oh, you asking just because I'm older now, I don't want to think about stepping out on my old lady. And he gave this one line that I was like, man, it's actual, that's wisdom for you.
That's a jewel.
And he was like, man, there's not one time that I just don't think about doing certain things, but what me and my old lady have is real. He was like, man, the older and wiser you get, the better choices your dick should make. Right. And I was like, from him just saying that was from back in the 90s, I was like, it makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense. But, that's what I'm saying. The older and the wiser part is where I find the man, not the manhood. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you grew as a man, you made wiser, smarter decisions. Men make wise, smart decisions. You know what I'm saying? Boys, you make dumb, you know what I'm saying? You do stupid
irrational
stuff all
decisions.
The time. And a lot of them are based on what you was chasing. It was based on your privates. Yeah. She said she do what? Okay, I'm on my way. She can barely wash her backside, and you up in her backside. You gotta change, bruh. As a man, you be like, nah, I ain't got to. I'm alright. I'm straight. Keep it. I'm gonna go and go home. I got better stuff to do. I can watch TV. Like,
you know what? Switching up a little bit. I just thought about this. We had game night a little while back and everything. You remember A Thin Line Between Love and Hate?
Yeah.
And one of the things that always bothered me was because the ladies at the game night were talking about, like, she warned him before it happened.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
And we were going back and forth for a while. You better believe a
woman when she say she gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, like, no, you better believe a human being when they say they gonna do something, because your receipt, I have to take you at your word.
Like, but the thing was, Okay, the whole issue came from on the movie A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Martin Lawrence is chasing this girl. He trying to